Finish this verse for me. Where there is no vision. That's right. Where there's no vision, the people perish. And this episode, your girl, BFT, Britnie Faith Turner, is going to be bringing it hot and heavy. Talking about how you can have a credible and immaculate vision for your body, for your strength, so that you can be propelled by your purpose. Britnie Faith Turner.
Jeremy Alexander Newsom.
I love doing this with you.
It's fun.
Thank you so much for hanging out.
I learned so much every time.
Me too. I did. When I went home last night and we sat down and started talking to the family, I was like, I'm just so thrilled and honored to be a part of this life with you. I learned so much. Season 5 of Broke to Woke is here. We're crushing it. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for being here. And if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else they create or produce podcasts, thank you. Thank you so much. We're going to continue this episode from the continuation of the last episode. In the last episode, Britnie, we mentioned upgrading your DNA. We talked about, you discussed setting the standard of strength for your entire family, for your lineage, for your legacy, how important that is and why people should do it. Do you feel or have you found that people can still negatively counteract that legacy of creation of strength?
Of course, there is actually a scripture that says, where there is no vision, the people shall perish. And what I've found is people will be forced to have a vision for their business because nobody will lend to them. Nobody will work with them. Nobody will partner with them in the event there isn't some kind of vision and strategy in order to do business. So a lot of people are forced into having a vision for that, but they don't take the time to have vision for their relationships. They don't have the time, or they don't take the time to have a vision for their body, their health. They don't have a vision for their impact. And so they're kind of just flopping around like a dying fish in those areas. And as we've seen in nature, things don't automatically just get better. Normally they get taken back to the earth or dissolved or something like that. You don't just wake up with the perfect body. It takes some kind of effort and focused energy. It takes education. It takes strategy. Same thing with your relationships. They're not just going to automatically get better if you put in no effort. And so what we're seeing too is without this vision, you're going to constantly be looking at ways to escape because you're drowning in the overwhelm and the upsetness and the frustration that you're not where you want to be, but you don't even know where you want to be because you never even thought about it. You never took the time to get clear. So you're just living this constant cycle of dissatisfaction.
Right.
And I was speaking to your wife about a year ago. One of the most profound things I think somebody's ever told me. And we were discussing, building out Heal on the island, which is a healing center that I'm bringing to life. It's in honor of my best friend who did die of stage 4 cancer. And we were just talking through, the mind, body, spirit connection of healing, because I know he didn't want to go. But interestingly, she said, before I do a healing, I ask people if they actually want to heal. And I was like, well, that's stupid. What a waste of time. Of course they do. Who wants to have cancer? And she said, you would be surprised how many people tell me they don't want to. I was like, no way. What are you talking about? It's insane. And she asks them why. And they say, this is the first time in my life that I've actually been able to enjoy myself, that I've been able to take a day off work, that I've been able to tell my kids how I feel, that I've been free and it's socially acceptable for me to take a vacation. And that blew my mind and broke my heart at the same time. How dare we have created a culture that is that demanding,
right,
that tells you you're only enough if, or that you think that the world is telling you you're only enough if. To where you have to attract cancer and or want to keep cancer just to be able to enjoy yourself. And I've met so many entrepreneurs where the weight of the responsibility they carry and how heavy it can be, they pray to God every day that they'll die. like, please God, take me, because their business or their calling is just so heavy on them. And so how can we start designing a life in alignment with that calling? But even if it's hard, you are living in that fulfillment every day in like these micro doses, because you're getting to experience the joy of living this calling versus I have to sacrifice over here. Everything sucks. Everything's hard. I'm never enough. And if I happen to have anything left over, then I can donate towards a cause. Does that make sense?
Happen to.
Yeah.
Right.
There's just not any intentionality. And so that's really what G-Force Entrepreneurs is. And it's not teaching people how to be an entrepreneur. It's teaching people how to weave this purpose into every part of their life so that they don't have a life that they want to escape from. And I know you've done such a good job with RLT to be integrating purpose, integrating why, integrating this bigger picture into why you trade in the first place. Because there are so many people you've seen that, I don't know about personally, but in the stock market that commit suicide when markets drop. Instead of believing in themselves or understanding why they're making money in the first place, believing that they are capable of weathering storms, all these things. So our point in sharing all this, guys, is if you're going to upgrade your life, if you're going to upgrade your standard, it's super important that you start having this intentionality, asking yourself what these definitions are for you. What is success? What is strength? What is love? What is abundance?
Yes.
Start making your own dang definitions, because the world changes their standards depending on what they're looking to sell you every season. What are your thoughts?
Bringing it home. Yes. So our guy, Tony Robbins, says the fastest way to change your life is to change your standards. And what you just said was your standards are the definitions of your words generally, because that's what you live by. You've said, and you mentioned love and strength and success and happiness. In our minds, we will have our general definitions of what those are.
Yeah.
And a lot of people's general mind definitions is if I have just enough, right? Because you have, whoever's listening to this right now, you have the exact amount of money and wealth that you feel you need to have. Simple as that. However much you have.
It's so frustrating.
It's
for those
very
of you
frustrating.
who are in a cycle of stress and feeling like you can't get ahead. But one quick way to know that that's true is I love asking people, if you had an additional $50,000 expense every single month, could you handle that right now? And everybody's answer is
no,
absolutely not. I said, if your daughter required a $50,000 a month medicine in order to be alive for the next year, could you figure out how to get that money in a legal way? And everybody says yes. And it's almost like this part of your brain connects to heaven and downloads the plan required when you have a powerful enough reason to do it.
Right.
If it's just for you, sometimes we aren't worth it in our own minds.
Yes. Very rarely will is it just for you propel you far enough.
Right.
And
rarely.
Fast enough. It can, but it's rare. And I always love when you say that, especially if it's on the island, because you'll have these people, they're like, well, I just can't, $10,000 a month or $20,000 a month, like that, these numbers I can't even figure out. And you look at them, do you have a child? I'm like, hey, yeah, I have a baby girl or baby boy or however many. And then you say, all right, $50,000 a month to save their life for the next year. And the replies are almost immediate. Yes, for sure. And it's conviction. If you can find a way to not need that level of motivation, right? My child's going to die if I don't make $50,000 or more. Right. But if you can take that same level of certainty, confidence, direction, intentionality, and bring it over to literally anything else.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish this race, do this workout, do this diet, do this food regimen. I'm going to focus on my body. I'm going to make an investment into my body for the next year, guaranteed, so that XYZ can happen and nothing is going to stop me. I'm going to be sober. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to stop doing dip. I'm going to stop doing drugs, whatever that challenge, that vice is for you. If you can, with 100% certainty, just like everyone says, yes, I can save my daughter and my son.
Yeah.
That level of certainty will change your life forever.
I think that it's just kind of incredible to see how pain and pleasure obviously are the
Yep.
top motivators,
Yep.
but how much more pain is a motivator than pleasure. And I
Right.
think, in my opinion, that it's you can kind of determine your own level of consciousness based on if you only accept pain versus willingness to be motivated by pleasure. And so it's not another reason to beat yourself up. We're
No.
trying not to give you weapons to hit yourself with, but it's an indicator to know where you are so you can start making goals around at what point can I just be worth it enough to push through versus the only teacher I perform for is the one that'll yell at me if I don't do my homework and therefore I try. You know, it's if life is your teacher, how can we just do it because we are an excellent student versus we're going to get in trouble?
That is a so much deeper concept than you're leading on. That is so unbelievably heavy. The pain versus pleasure piece and like the level of consciousness. Because if you think, and you just asked the question, if someone's beating you,
Yeah.
how are you going to feel? Essentially, right?
Gotta,
Someone's
gotta
like,
change it.
right. You have to change that. I don't need to be whipped.
Yeah.
Be pulled by your purpose rather than pushed by your pain.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a huge distinction to those. And by the way, I'm still working on that for myself, right?
I am too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I use pain a lot as a motivator.
Yeah.
But it's a lot less than I used to.
Yeah.
So take 7 years ago. It was probably 80-20, 80% pain, 20% pleasure. Now, currently, it's probably the exact opposite, right?
That's good.
80% pleasure, 20%
Trending
pain.
up.
Trending up, doing my best. And will it ever be 100? Probably not. But I think that there's certain elements that's good to have that reminder that I'm choosing to do certain aspects to just remind myself what pain is and why it's there and have that beautiful dance. But when you mentioned that it's a marker of consciousness of how far you're elevating them, do you want to no longer be the whipped dog
of your own life?
Of your own life. Like, are you and can you simply choose a different way rather than continuously be beat up by the system?
I don't know if it's like choose or if it's designing in habits and reminders. I mean, it is choosing, but it's not like I'm gonna choose this today. You know, you kind of gotta set up a system of habit thoughts to be able to start changing those decisions. It is daily decisions, and a lot of times we use things like procrastination or anger or just putting in the minimum or escapism in order to be corrected into it. And one of the interesting indicators is for people who are going from broke to wealthy is every time you actually have money in your bank account, you get rid of it because, and you can put it all into a deal. It's not like you throw it away at gambling, but you get rid of it in some way because you believe in your heart that if you're not broke, you're not motivated. If you're not gonna make your bills this month,
I feel attacked.
Then you're not gonna be motivated enough to keep showing up at work if you're not desperate. And so again, start switching that desperation to abundance, but attached to the reason you need abundance, the knowing that you are here for a purpose and that purpose requires resources and that those resources can be such a blessing to more than just your own survival. Again, it is the most selfish thing you can do to only be focused on you. Now, the foundation is focusing on you and making sure that you are stable enough to be able to be a powerful vessel. But you are so much more than your own problems. You really are. You're here for such a bigger reason. And people really diminish their own value and their own impact. And that's one of my top life goals, is to help wake people up. Not that I'm the great awakener. I don't even give a crap if I ever get credit. I don't care. People just need to realize how important their life is and to take it seriously. And so this podcast is about that. Start taking your life more seriously, knowing that you're the only one that can make yourself accomplish and reach these dreams, these visions. Nobody else is ever going to force you to be the person you're called to be. Your wife might try, but it's still your decision, and you can still resent her for even trying.
Mm-hmm.
So take yourself up, get a better perspective, and start activating into your purpose.
Is it true that this is a much better name of a podcast than the Acorn?
Yes. But you know, the word woke did get messed up. So it's
Sure.
something I actually think about frequently. I'm like, I did hate the name Acorn. But let's just tell the people, what's the logic behind the acorn? What's the story of the acorn that makes this extremely applicable to what we talk about anyway?
Well, correct. But the reason you brought up is when you said like going from broke to wealthy, right?
Yeah.
And I was just like, broke to woke is just such a good name.
It is.
And I would love to talk about the acorn story in the next episode.
Oh, snap. We'll see you there.
All right, here's the coolest part ever. I know you're probably a little bit interested in investing with Britnie and myself, right? We have tons of deals, and there's always amazing opportunities where you can get ideas generated to you from us. So how about you check it out? Pop into broketowoke.com and let us know, are you interested at all in investing with Britnie and myself? If you are, we'd love to chat with you, talk a little bit more about what you're looking to do, and then we'll work together, make more money, grow your impact, grow your wealth, do all kinds of cool stuff. broketowoke.com. Check it out, fill out the form. Looking forward to seeing your name in the investing pool.